Hey, Albert, you know that story about the ugly duckling?
No, I don't.
That's what we're going to talk about today. Something you thought was an ugly duckling and grew into a beautiful swan.
I like where you're going. See,
Do you like where
I
I'm
never
going
know
with
where
that?
he's going, but I like where he's going with that. But that's what we're going to talk about today. The bourbons that you didn't used to like, but now you do.
Or maybe they went from a swan to an ugly duckling.
Yeah, there's that too. Are there any bourbons that you liked and now you don't? We'll talk about that.
Welcome to the Bourbon Doctors. I'm Chad. This is Albert. You know what we're talking about now, and so it's just like we said. So occasionally you have these bottles. The first time you have it, you're like, it's okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's not something I may buy again. And then maybe you have it another time, and you're like, that's better than I remember. And maybe I will buy it again, and it's even better. And the other can be true also, where you'd have one bottle, you think, or a lot of times, in my opinion at least, it's hype. You get a hyped up bottle and you think, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. It's like the Super Bowl and it's a blowout.
Yep.
And you go, that wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
So there's some other, for me, I have some bottles that I really thought I liked. And then over time, I've just kind of been like, nah.
And I have a classic one that I unfortunately don't even have because I just don't buy it anymore. I used to really think it was. But
so where do you want to start? Where do you want to start with the bottles that you like now and don't?
Yeah, that I thought were okay and I've grown to like much more. Okay. I'm going to start out with a craft distillery from Michigan. And this is Coppercraft in Holland, Michigan. And the first time I had it, it's got a little knockdown in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a little...
First time I had it, I was kind of like, it's okay. And I had it. And the more I have it, the more I like it. In fact, it's what's in my glass right now. And so if you got a chance to get this, I would recommend it highly.
Do they distribute anywhere but Michigan?
It's here in Iowa.
Is it? Okay.
Oh, yeah, right. So I've seen it in Iowa. It's 97 proof. It's their straight bourbon whiskey. It's I think the bottle in Michigan, I got it for about $40-50. Well worth it. Good pour.
So that's one you didn't love at first, but now you've grown to love.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So I got one that, and this one, I think a lot of people, this is in their earlier years of bourbon drinking, or maybe when they just start. Wild Turkey 101. It was never something that I was high on. Right. I was always just like, it's a bottom
shelf. To me, it was
shelf,
always a mixing bourbon.
Mixing low level bourbon, but 101 proof.
I'm trying to see if I even have any.
It's a great product. It's a great product.
Yeah.
It's inexpensive.
It's pretty solid.
It's solid. You can sip it all day long. And yes, is Eagle Rare better? Yes, I believe so.
Like, what, about 20, 25?
It's like $25.
Yeah.
So this is one of the ones that it's kind of snuck up on me over the years, and I find myself going to it here and again.
Mm-hmm. My next one, and we're going to just do a couple each, is one I did not think. So when I first had this, I thought, it's okay, but it was overhyped, I thought, because of the whole Bob
that was
Dylan
not one
thing.
that I really loved.
Heaven's Door. Now, the last few times I've had it, I'm like, wow, that is... And I don't know if it did something.
Who knows?
I've had the bottle now...
You've had that bottle for at least 3 or 4 years.
About 2 years.
2 years, that's all?
Yeah, I remember when we got it, when I went to Nashville. But it's... the more I have it, the more I like it. And I've even got a couple now at Heaven's Door store picks. And so, yeah, I think it's something that grew on me. It may not grow on you or anyone else, but I like it more now than I did. And I'll put a shout out to Brad and Esteline, who always watch our channel. They got me that bottle.
Yeah, so I remember you get it's
2 years ago.
Yeah, it's more than 2 years. But anyway, regardless,
2 years this summer.
We have some other videos where we knock on Heaven's Door, not in a good way.
No.
But Chad has grown to like it.
Yeah. The other one, yeah.
The other one that I have grown to like, so our colleague Derek Gearman is a big Four Roses fan. We released a video. I released a video with Derek. You weren't available, where we went through the whole Four Roses lineup, and I was surprised by this bottle. And I know that you still don't love it.
Well, you told me about it. I said, well, I'll go get it and I'll try it again. And I thought, well, it's still kind of okay to me. It's still a 5.
I had it that night. I thought, wow, this is way better than I remembered. Because, yes, it's one that I've had before. And I thought, meh.
Mm-hmm.
I had it again. I'm like, no, I kind of like this. I actually kind of like this. And I've started, that's another bottle I've started to dip into more. There's 4 bottles that we weren't high on to start, but now we're finishing high.
So, yeah, if you can get them, try them.
Yep.
And here's what else I'd say. Send us yours in the comments.
Yeah.
Let us know.
What bottle
because
did
there
you
may
grow
be
to
something that we don't even know about that you now love, and we'll try it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So what?
Now let's flip it, right?
Now let's flip it. You're going from the swan to the ugly duckling. The ones that you said, oh, this is, and a lot of it is hype, and I think that's what this one is for me.
Okay.
Because then when I blind it, I always go, well, it's not that good. But
there's a lot of hype for this bottle.
A lot of hype.
hype.
I love the Antique 107.
Yeah?
The CYPB.
Oh, CYVP is
The
delicious.
Weller Full Proof. The Weller 12 year, I just saw someone recently ranked it and had that number 2 on their Weller lineup.
Nope.
Ahead of 1,
Yeah,
2. And,
I disagree.
And when we had it, I think one of us even put it below SR.
Yeah. I don't think it's great bourbon.
I don't think it's as good as it's hyped to be. I mean, people are going bonkers. I got this bottle, luckily at MSRP, I think it was about $65.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people paying $250 for this stuff.
Yep.
Especially now that they used it on the TV show Yellowstone.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it was featured, and so now everyone wants it. But it's maybe worth 60. I don't even know if it's worth 60. To me, it's a $40 bourbon.
Yeah,
and it's not that good.
It's all the Weller hype.
Yeah, it's the Weller hype.
And again, I love Weller products for the most part. They're some of my favorite bourbons. But the 12-year, to me, there are other bottles that you can get a 12-year age statement that I think are far better.
Yeah, in fact, we could do that. But I think
now,
Knob Creek 12 is.
I like Knob Creek 12.
Way better.
Yep.
I'd love to get some Jack Daniels 12.
I've got a Lux Row 12-year that I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
right.
yours?
So for me, it's the High West bottles, and it's really anything out of the High West distillery. Their early products obviously were sourced, right, and it's MGP sourced stuff. I don't think you can go wrong with a aged MGP product, right? But nowadays they are doing their own stuff. This is their own whiskey, and I think it's taken a step back. So
yeah,
this
it's
is
not something I go after usually. I mean, I had that bottle, but it's. Here's what I'll ask you because you have it and I don't. How about a Midwinter Night's Dram?
So I've only ever gotten one.
I know you do, and that's why I'm asking because some people will just go crazy when that stuff comes out. And that's a High West thing.
Yep, I enjoy my bottle, but I have never had any of the. Oh, that's not true. I have had one older bottle, but I haven't had them side to side, so it's harder for me to compare. Hey, is this year's release, which is what we've heard from some of the bourbon groups.
They changed quite
right?
a bit.
Is that this year's Midwinter's Night Dram was not as good. I don't have anything to compare it to, so I don't know. But the High West products overall that I have had, I think have taken a step back, and I used to be higher on them than I am now.
All right. My last one I don't even have because I liked it. At first, I went through about 2-3 bottles, and the more I had it, the more I was like, and the more I blinded it against stuff, and I'm sorry to Matthew McConaughey and to Wild Turkey, but it's Long Branch.
Yeah.
It was every time I've
had to do a whole series
against
on Texas bourbons because of your love for Long Branch.
Yeah, but every time I've had it now, even against the Wild Turkey stuff, I mean, the Russell's Reserve is so much better. The Rare Breed is better. I would even,
the
101 go head to head with the 101.
Better.
And at Long Branch, it runs about $40-45 a bottle. That's $25.
Yeah.
So it's just one that over time.
You figured it out. That
I said it's not as good as I thought.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you. I do have my last one, and you are gonna.
I'm not gonna like this.
I
already know what it is.
You're not in agreement.
I'm not gonna like this.
But
this is one of my favorites.
My last one is Booker's, and this is not to say that Booker's is a bad, like, I like Booker's in general,
Yeah.
right? But over the years, I have realized that I never go and pour a dram of Booker's. My bottle
At
sits
night?
there and just sits.
I do.
And I think while I like the flavor profile overall, one with its increasing price,
Yeah, I think that's a
that really kind of knocked it down.
It used to
for
be
me.
about 69, now it's 89.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that hurts.
It's become harder and harder to find. And sometimes Booker's is a little bit hot for me. Some of the 129s, they just are a little bit hot.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I could take that same flavor profile and get it from a Knob Creek 12.
Yeah.
And, at
Or even
120.
Baker's. I think I've
and
had
even
Baker's,
Baker's
and
is
I think
pretty
Baker's
similar.
is pretty similar. But I will say I love Booker's. I
know you do.
I've never had if I see a bottle I won't have, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
They're consistently good to me.
I do think
Occasional I'll put an ice cube in it.
Yep.
But that's about it.
I do think they produce a very consistent product. I don't know that there's enough variation in batch to batch, year to year, for me to be like, I need to chase every one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that, like, my bar looks a little bit like your bar, and there's enough other bottles that I go, I rarely go to this one. So it used to be a love, and now it's just a...
Yeah, won our very first tournament like 2 years ago.
It's
But that was kind of that was like a D2 tournament.
Yeah, that was the NIT for sure. All right, guys, this is the bourbons that we used to love and now don't, and the bourbons that we used to not
don't love and now do.
Now we do.
Send us yours.
Send us your feedback. Let us know what you have really grown to love. That's what we really want to know. But we'd also take, is there something that you used to love and now, like, or some, all the variations. Send us your ideas.
Send us your ideas.
That was
You
not
can
very
criticize
coherent.
us all you want, but we don't care.
That happens
They're
already.
going to go, oh, you're crazy. Well, they're 12 Bookers.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, man.
It is what it is. All right. Like, comment, subscribe. Remember,
bourbon is for drinking.
cheers.
Cheers.